Hello, everyone. Welcome to our discussion today covering UniFi's Door Access Solutions presented by Andrew Pieper with Ubiquiti. We're really looking forward to this presentation. Today's webinar had an excellent turnout. Now for a quick intro on the solution. UniFi Door Access, specifically the UniFi Access system, was first introduced by Ubiquiti to the public around 2020, almost 5 years ago, and it was in development for a couple of years before that. That's when Ubiquiti released the UniFi Access Control Hub, marking the company's official entry into the access control market. Since then, Ubiquiti has done what Ubiquiti does best, which is bring us more state-of-the-art UniFi releases, which integrate beautifully with one another. And today we're going to concentrate primarily on the door access solutions, but keep an eye out for future webinars covering their UniFi Protect security cameras, power solutions, switches, Wi-Fi, and all other UniFi releases. UniFi Access seamlessly integrates with your existing Ubiquiti UniFi network, allowing for centralized management of access control alongside your other unified network devices. It also allows you to connect various door access devices such as readers, locks, and sensors to the access control hub for unified management. It also enables you to manage user credentials, lock and unlock doors remotely, and provides complete access control management through the UniFi Access mobile app. Today's presentation will be uploaded to our YouTube channel and shared throughout social media. Please submit your questions in the chat window, and we'll cover as many as we can after the slideshow presentation. Now I will hand it over. Andrew, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate the introduction, and thanks everyone for being here today. It's a pleasure to meet with you. You know, Ubiquiti, we sell a lot of products, but we are not a large company in terms of numbers. So every opportunity we have to get together and do one of these webinars, I always enjoy it, and it's nice to hear from you what your questions are. So we'll have plenty of time for that today. But our whole goal today in having this session, our UniFi Access line, as Jonathan mentioned, is a really fast-growing category. We see that sales is growing especially fast in North America, and this year has been another exceptional year in terms of like offering new products from our access line, as well as growth on in our sales. So we have a mature solution. If you haven't checked out our door access product in a couple of years, you'll be happy to see what we've got today. I'll go over all of that, and we'll also kind of give you everything you need to know to get started. I think a lot of times people look at door access, especially if you're a traditional like network integrator or managed service provider. You know, maybe you're comfortable with IT stuff, but it feels like sometimes physical security can feel daunting to get involved with. Well, UniFi Access makes it super easy. And so today, my whole goal is just give you kind of the knowledge you need to be able to add this onto your business offerings to be able to grow and improve your business with UniFi. So just my name's Andrew, and I've been with Ubiquiti for several years now, and I've seen this product come a long way since I've been here, and so yeah, very happy to talk to you about that today. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and just do a brief introduction for UniFi. For some of you, I assume most people here are familiar with UniFi, but just a brief history. We started outdoor wireless space with point-to-point networks, and that's how probably many of you started working with ISP supplies. And we grew in that market, and around, you know, after I think it was 2010, 2011, we released our first access point for indoor wireless, and over time we built this platform on UniFi from just a networking solution to the full stack IT solution. And just kind of give you an idea, we've only been around doing UniFi for maybe less than 15 years, and we are already the #1 vendor in access points worldwide. We ship more APs than any other vendor out there, and that's kind of, I think, kind of tells you that we do something a little differently, and I think it's resonating with a lot of customers. So just to give you an idea of kind of what we're about with UniFi, our first kind of focus and what we're known for is that quality hardware there. We design hardware that works well, it's reliable, it's high performance, but it also looks good. You don't have to feel ashamed putting our devices on your ceiling in the workplace or in your home. And you can see that kind of approach, very careful approach towards industrial design, where we try to make these products that are very sleek, look good. And so you can definitely see some influence from Apple here. Of course, our CEO came from an Apple background, and that's influenced and guided some of the strategy here. But one of the core differences between us and Apple is our products aren't priced to be a luxury product. We try to make these products accessible to people, small businesses, markets that are more price sensitive, and I think that's contributed to us growing really quickly. So basically, the whole transaction around UniFi is built around we sell this hardware at an aggressive price to try to provide cost savings to the end customer. And then we also do things, we also add on a lot of services and benefits to that hardware purchase that then end up improving, the end user's experience. So the next of those is these pillars of our business, the innovative software experience. So despite the fact that once you buy the hardware with our products, you have no responsibility to pay license fees for any of these UniFi products. We provide the software, which we keep working on this all the time. If you haven't seen our software in the last 6 months, it probably looks different than the last time you looked at it. And that's just because we're always trying to improve that user experience and make it into a more powerful solution. And our software, if you looked at it, it also looks really nice. I mean, a lot of this software in the networking space, of course, it can sometimes be an eyesore, but we try to make it look good and be very actionable and help save you a lot of time. And then the third of these pillars that we would say is a big part of our success at this point, who we are, is this license-free cloud management. So no matter what product you purchase on UniFi, it comes with it cloud management. We provide free cloud management through our cloud service. Basically, all devices, we offer alternatives to this, but mainly UniFi devices are locally hosted and your data is there locally. We provide with our cloud service a free, free secure way to access that network remotely. And this is really important for MSPs and integrators like yourselves, because as you deploy customer solutions, UniFi provides an easy way for you to monitor all the products you deployed, so you can sell those service contracts to customers. And because we're not charging that license fee, that means that's money that the customer can pay to you to maintain and service their deployment. So with UniFi, you can grow your business to as many deployments as you want, thousands of deployments, and without having to pay us a cent in licensing for that. So that's part of, I think, why a lot of you are here. But let's move on. That's kind of just an introduction to our identity. But UniFi is now growing into this really large-scale, all-in-one end-to-end IT solution. Our whole goal is we take all these parts of an IT manager's, responsibilities, and we bring those together into one central interface. That's the whole idea of UniFi, is we bring all these products together, make them easy to manage, and save money and provide value to the customer. We now have everything from enterprise scale gateway and next generation routers that can handle 25 gig WAN routing. Our routing platform has really matured, especially in the last couple of years. We have people running full stack networking products in stadiums and arenas in the most high performance environments out there. And really, that's something that's really changed about UniFi. People might have associated us in the past with small businesses, but really, in the last few years, we've been able to provide dramatically increased scale where we can basically handle virtually any scale with our networking products. So no matter how big your deployments are, UniFi is a great option. And really, the great thing about those large deployments is it just adds to the value of what you're saving with that no licensing model. We also now have physical security platform. We'll talk about that today. We also have other things like digital displays. We just released an amp for streaming audio, and we've got all these different products we're coming out with all the time. We just released our first NAS device for network storage, and so we just keep growing and trying to add more and more value to this platform, so that ultimately, if you're deploying a lot of different products to customers, some of you may find that it's just easier to standardize with UniFi because it's simple, easy, it works, and you can build a really profitable business around it. But let's go ahead and talk about today. Just some of the things we're aiming to do anytime we release a product is we want to eliminate some of those traditional IT pain points. That licensing, we want to make our products very actionable and easy to use, and we also want to make it scalable. And the same applies here to physical security. So let's talk about the physical security market. When we talk about physical security, we talk about the things necessary, the technology necessary to secure a physical building and prevent people from getting access to things that they shouldn't be able to access. Globally, there's this very large market right now of physical security, but we're really set to grow dramatically over the next few years. And the revenue forecast in 2030 is expected to go from $136 billion US to $216 billion. And that market growth comes out to like an annual growth rate of around 6.8% from in the next 7-8 years. And what that means is that there's lots of opportunities for new physical security installs. And as these physical security solutions come to depend more and more on network connectivity for things like monitoring and cloud access, these products are starting to become a part of an IT ecosystem. People, in the past, maybe 20 years ago, used to think about a security team watching, someone sitting in a room somewhere watching these cameras and these analog cameras connected to this one central viewing display where maybe someone's sitting there with their legs up on the on the dashboard and just watching these cameras, right? But it's kind of changed now to where now we see this as part of like an IT manager's responsibilities. And so despite that you're comfortable deploying those traditional IT services, some of you may not have experience doing physical security, but that's okay. With UniFi, it represents a really easy way to get involved with this in this market. So by familiarizing yourself and being comfortable with UniFi Access and Protect, you'll find that your integration business or managed service business will be able to be more profitable. Let me just give you an example. Let me just talk a little bit about how we can help you grow your business with our physical security products. So even if you don't have any experience, I can tell you from personal experience, I come from an IT background myself. Previous to working at Ubiquiti, I'd done things like help desk, sysadmin kind of things, and I'd never done anything with physical security. I've now installed it myself, and I can tell you, UniFi Access makes it a breeze, and it really is straightforward. So, a lot of your customers, by being able to offer the service, it means that you can win more jobs, and also you can have a more satisfied customer. A lot of your customers maybe work the networking products, have a good experience. They like looking at the app, seeing and monitoring their network that way, and are happy with the savings in terms of licensing from like their previous option. And so with UniFi Access, it may be an easy sell to sell UniFi Access and UniFi Protect to these customers. Our license-free cloud platform will help make a recurring revenue for you with maintenance plans. And the site manager will empower you to be able to manage deployments at a limited scale. And we've added tons of features to their site manager. That's out there at unifi.ui.com. This is where you go to manage all those deployments remotely. And we've made it easy where you have global permissions. So if you're doing an install for a customer with 3 different locations, it can be very seamless for someone just to access all 3 sites and to manage permissions at a global level, so you don't have to do every single change on a single site. So we're trying to save you time and save you money by using our platform. And we hear from a lot of integrators and MSPs that that's why they're making the move to UniFi. So let's look at an example network deployment. If you're not doing, maybe some of your, again, our network integrators, MSPs, this is what maybe a smaller business install might look like. So you can see here, around $5,000 of hardware costs, not including all the things like, installation and also the cabling and all that stuff. But you can see here, this is generally what the cost would look like. If you were to add on to this install and add on physical security products, you can see just by, let's say the customer wanted to also add on 2 of their external doors with G2 Reader Pros there, so that someone can call into the office, they can ring the doorbell there, do a number of other things. You could add on these features, these products, and at this price. And so for a margin, for an increase of cost around 60% over the initial SKUs, you can then have a pretty robust physical security platform on top of that. And what's cool about UniFi is we have these cloud gateways that act as the router and the firewall for the network, but they also run all the software applications. So in this case, with it, you wouldn't have to add any additional devices to manage the access and protect. It would be able to be managed on that UniFi Dream Machine Pro Max there. And so with this, it means there's a lower cost of entry. And as customers, maybe already have a network deployment, if you put in a cloud gateway there, it's easy for you to go back to sell that customer a few cameras or a few door access readers and so on. But just an idea of what this looks like just by doing this, you can increase your profit margin pretty dramatically. And so it's just a good opportunity for you to take a look. It may not, we're already running PoE throughout the building, so to just do an additional drop of PoE to an access hub there close to the doors, and then connect from that to the peripheral devices you need for access, you'll find that this it doesn't take a lot of extra work, but gives a lot of extra value to the end customer, and allows you to make some additional profit when you're billing for this. So just an idea of what the architecture looks like with our physical security platform. So we have our site manager, like I mentioned. This is where you go to manage your deployments over the internet. It allows you to scale to whatever scale you need without licensing fees. We also have these cloud gateways and consoles, which I mentioned are the way that you can manage the software application that manages the devices. So not only do they perform that vital role in the network, they also help you manage your devices that you're, the access devices. And these switches then be connected to the entry access, the door access products to provide connectivity and PoE to those devices. And that allows those devices to then, whenever someone swipes a card, it can go check whack with the software and make sure that person has the access policy needed to access that door. So that's kind of just an overview of what it looks like. It's not overly complicated. It may seem like it, but let's go ahead and talk about the access solution with UniFi Access. So just an idea of what's involved in a system. So this is what a typical install may look like for a single door with UniFi Access. So first of all, we have the access hub. This is kind of the brains of the whole operation. This device is a mandatory for every door. You need to have some access hub for every single door entry that you're going to install for a customer. Now this, there's some flexibility there, some caveats here. So you can have connected to this device, you could have like double doors connected. That's okay. So like let's say it's a double door entry. There's two lock terminals there on that device that allow you to manage both those locks and open those simultaneously when someone swipes the card. You can also have multiple readers plugged into this device. So if you look at the top of it, this device is powered by PoE++ and has PoE out, so it can power all the other components like the if you have a camera paired to it so you can do facial recognition, or if it's just going to the reader, you can also have multiple readers. So if you have double doors, you want a reader on either side of the double doors, you can just plug those into the access hub there at the top with those PoE ports. Now that's the first part of this system. The next is this lock. So this is another requirement. You don't have to use one of our locks with UniFi Access, and in fact, UniFi Access is very flexible in that it can be used in retrofitting environments that already have a lock in place. Basically, you just have to make sure that your lock, whatever you're using and whatever components you're going to be using, like let's say you have your own door position sensor that tells you whether the door is open or not. That's okay. We support that. You just need to make sure it connects. You check our tech specs out on our access hub and make sure that, if it needs to be powered from the access hub, it has enough power to power that device. Now you can always manage if it's not compatible in that way with power, you can always power it yourself and then just connect the device to the access hub on the non-powered contacts. Now the reader, this is the other part of any deployment that's mandatory is a reader. You need to have an access hub and a reader. And that's the two UniFi products that are required for any door. I'll talk about some kind of unique situations that may change that slightly, but you can have a lot of other things connected to this access hub, but none of those are mandatory. You basically just need to have a reader, which is the device used to validate NFC or whatever access method you're using. Allows you to call using a directory to a phone or whatever. You can do that, but this device is something you need to have. We offer lots of different readers. I'll talk about those in a minute. As an optional thing, you can also have a camera installed at the door. So our UniFi Protect line with our video security, you could also opt to pair a camera to this door so that anytime someone opens the door, you get multiple angle camera view of the access event. And this is a really nice feature, and one that if you're going to try to sell UniFi Access and UniFi Protect, I really recommend you get a demo that you can show to customers, because when they see this integration of someone accessing a door, seeing the multi angles of that footage for every single door access event, so that they can not only verify the right access method was used, so someone used the card, but they can also make sure that the person using that identification was the person that is tied to that form of identification. So this is a really nice feature, and it's great for upping security, and customers just really get sold on that very easily when they see it working in a real example. We also offer redundant PoE switching. There's a few options of how you can achieve this, but one option is our mission critical. This device has an integrated battery in it that can take over if power is interrupted. That allows your devices to stay still working in the event of a power outage, and of course that's a lot of times going to be an important thing when you're considering things like fire code, like people need to be able to exit your building in the event of a fire or in the event of a power outage, and having like adequate backups and everything allows you to make sure that this product stays online, and then you can have it set to fail safe. If all these backup methods are then exhausted, then you can have it set to fail safe, so that way it's going to continue working in the event of a power outage. And so on. You can also have these connected to alarms for the record, so that when the alarm goes off, it'll open up the doors automatically as well. Now we also, the other part of the system that when we're talking about door access is you just need to have a method of managing these devices. In this case, we're using the UDM Pro. It's a cloud gateway, but we also offer cloud keys that you can use to manage these devices. We leave it very optional, and that's just because we want to provide flexibility. So just know the methods available and make sure that the method you need is you're buying the right device to manage these. But that's basically it. I know it seems really complicated. Let me just talk a little about what the benefits are of UniFi Access. Some of you may have used other products, door access solutions, but not UniFi Access. But I'll just talk about some of these things that set us apart from the other options of the market. So the first of these is really accessible and it's very easy to use and deploy. Many of you are, since you're familiar with UniFi, you're definitely using PoE all the time, right? So anytime you go in to do a network deployment, you're going to be running PoE to all these access points, and that's something you're very comfortable with. What's great about this solution compared to a lot of other door access solutions is it's all PoE based. So that allows you to save costs too, because when you're wiring for these devices, you can just do an additional PoE run, and that's no problem. Now it's easy to set up as well, so you can see here just like what this looks like. It's very easy to install, and we provide documentation and things that help make that very streamlined. Now we also offer some enhanced security. Like part of this comes from us having a PoE-based solution, but we are able to provide encryption. We also have NFC cards that have added encryption, so that if someone's using one of those hacker tools that can pick up the try to steal the NFC devices, to mimic those devices. This provides added security to that. So you get some benefits with UniFi that makes it more secure than the alternatives. And it's also very scalable. So you need to have 80 doors, that's okay. You can do that with UniFi, it's no problem. And the other thing is value. So of course, you'll find that basically with these no licensing fees, there's some options out there that have like mandatory cloud management that require you to pay a licensing fee to manage these devices. We don't do that, and so that just means you're going to save a lot of money on these installs as well. And we have some very affordable SKUs as well that also, for those most price-conscious customers, allow them to use the UniFi Access without, breaking the bank. And last, like I mentioned, license-free cloud management is available on these products. So let's go ahead and move on. Just to give you an idea of what the software looks like. Here's a dashboard example of the Access software. Here you can see all the analytics about when doors have been opened. We can see who's accessing the doors after hours and pinpoint maybe there's someone that shouldn't be accessing the facility that is. You can also look and see who's the most active users, and you can also from this dashboard open up doors manually. So sometimes people opt to have this software running on the receptionist computer so that receptionists can just open any door whenever someone calls up to the receptionist desk. And we provide some easy ways to do that, but this is an option if you want to do that in the manual way. But yeah, the software is really easy to use and accessible, and your customers will be happy with it when they see how it works. So again, these are kind of just the overview of the requirements. This is what's required for every install. Everything else you can add on to this is optional. But there's lots of stuff you can, but this just helps you see that it's not, it doesn't have to be super complicated. So this picture shows you kind of cross section of everything and how it's all connected together. I think it's important to stress that it's very simple and easy to get this deployed. So that's the door reader. We got the access up here. Here's our compatible lock, our UniFi console, and that PoE local connectivity. So here's a lot of the entry access methods we support. So we offer a lot of different methods, and these are growing all the time. We have mobile unlock, where you can have across multiple sites in the organization, you can have a account tied to your Active Directory that is paired to that employee, and you can manage these permissions all from one place across multiple sites in the site manager. You can set it up to where if an employee needs to have access to 3 different locations, you can have it set up to where if that person goes on site at any of those locations, they can open up the door easily from this app. Just open up the app, click the door, and then there you go. The door is open. So that's one method. We also have NFC mobile tap, allow you to tap that phone there. We also have PIN code, where you can type in the manual key. And what's nice about this is for those devices with digital displays, we also offer the functionality to be able to scramble the PIN code. So if you're worried about someone looking at your home, seeing the PIN code you're putting in at your garage or whatever, you can have it set to automatically scramble this so that someone wouldn't be able to see from, get an idea of which buttons you're pressing. We also offer QR codes, which is pretty cool. So especially, I think this is really nice for residential installs. So we support like gates at if you have a gate in front of a residence, you have a visitor coming, you can text them a QR code, they can pull it up and just point it at the camera. The camera then sees that QR code is there and opens up. And these QR codes can be set to expire within 3 hours or whatever you specify. It just makes it really easy to provide guest access to somebody. Streamlines the whole process. We also support license plate recognition here. This is more likely to be used for a push to exit button, of course, with a push button. And we also have doorbells and chimes. So you can bring a third-party chime or use our chime here. That when you push you slide your finger up like that, it'll initiate the doorbell chime so that someone comes to the door. We also have pocket key fobs, NFC cards, NFC key fobs. We support third-party NFC cards as well. We can also use our UniFi phones. This is a really cool feature where if you have a G2 Reader Pro, for instance, at the front door, you can have a directory going to all the VoIP phones in your deployment, and can call up to the receptionist desk or the design team or the maintenance team, and we'll initiate a call with that office. It'll ring, and then they'll see this display on the phone, and they can opt to answer or just to go ahead and open that door. We also have these intercom devices that are paired to intercom viewers, and these work with both the intercom as well as any of our access access readers that have cameras on them. And then we also have facial recognition, where you can have it set with facial recognition on our cameras to then, when someone approaches the door, it'll automatically open when their face is recognized. And last, we also have motion activation as another option for like business hours or whatever, if you want to do that. All right, so this is the access hub. So just an overview. Some of you may have looked at this before. I know when I first looked at this device before I'd installed it, I looked at this and I was like, oh, this seems like complicated. And this is the older version of this. We have a newer version. I should need to update this, but basically it's a little more intuitive, which contacts go to what. But each of these are basically where you plug in the pair of cables going to all the different components of your door access solution. So if you have a lock, you would just connect that there into the dry. If it doesn't need power, so dry meaning it's not powered, you would connect those two cables there and into these contacts. And then whenever someone swipes, uses that reader, it can then open the door. You also can have that powered lock as well, so it can do 2 locks at one time. So this way you can do double doors. People also do some interesting things like with turnstiles and stuff like that. But having the option to do 2 locks at a time is kind of nice. We also have other auxiliary connections, so you can use different components that you want to add on. But we have there on the left side, we have like a request to exit device, an alarm part to plug into your alarm system, or a door position sensor, and so on. So there's lots of different things supported. Just check and see with whatever application the customer wants. Just make sure that the component you want to use as third party is compatible with the connectors here, especially for the powered ones. Now, if that's mainly going to be what you're going to be concerned with, because otherwise it's just a positive and negative pair, and then that way, all it does is just open or close that circuit there. Now we also offer a different access hub, which is more dense for up to 8 doors. So this is the difference where instead of having one access hub to one door, this offers 8 doors to one access hub. So this makes sense where you have wiring of all these door components to a central utility closet. Now the consideration I would say to keep in mind of whether you're going to use the enterprise access hub or the other access hub will be how you want to do the cabling. Because what I tell a lot of customers, especially if you're retrofitting and you need to run cables through a building that's already in operation, and the idea of running a cable from every single door, including the lock, including the chime, or including the the reader and so on, all these cables just becomes a little more complicated, and it's more work. And I think sometimes it's easier instead to go with this access hub installed in the secure box close to the door, or in a location close to the door, and then this connects all those devices. So then instead you just run one PoE cable from that central switch to this location, and then this device can be used to connect everything else. So generally I would recommend the access hub if there's going to be a lot of different components at the door, or if it's like a retrofit and you don't want to run cables all to the central utility closet. Now, if you all happen to be doing new construction and you can easily get these cabling ran, then you go for it. Yeah, this might work better for organization or simplicity, or for centralized security. I mean, it's up to you. This device also can be connected to external battery source, so it offers some added benefit there. You can just plug in the external battery daisy chain to this, and it also supports an AC plug-in. So if you don't have a PoE switch for your network, but you have network switches, but you want door access, you can use one of these to provide that PoE to the access hub or to the readers, and then also and then just connect it to your network. We also have an elevator access hub as well, which is kind of which allows you to extend this deployment to the elevators, which is cool. So you can do up to 16 floors on this, I believe is the number on it, and basically you can have it set to where either you have it installed on the outside of the elevator and they have to swipe like they have to swipe their NFC card to get access to the elevator, or you can have it inside the elevator and they have to, if they want to hit a button on the elevator that goes to a particular floor, they have to then swipe their card and make sure they have access for that. We also have a gate access starter kit that allows you to use these products at in a parking lot or in a gate at the entry to your facility. And this is a really cool product that I'm really I hear really great feedback from customers. It's great because this is this device can be paired well with our Protect cameras, our AI cameras, and have license plate recognition, so that basically you can have a white list of all the people who should have access to this location. And as they drive up, that license plate reader camera picks up the license plate and automatically opens the gate. It also then supports, like if someone drives up who's a visitor, they can call up to the receptionist desk and ask for access, and that person can verify that and allow them. And it supports a lot of other different methods. But this is just a really convenient way to basically provide more services to your customers. Like a lot of people may think that as an integrator or MSP that you're mainly going to be doing, you know, IT stuff or something inside, but being able to show that you can also help them extend their physical security system to the exterior, I think can help win over additional business and also impress customers with the robustness of the solution you're selling. So this is a good kit, and all comes together bundled to make it easy. So it's got relays to help run power from inside, to extend the PoE from inside to the inside the facility all the way out to the parking lot if it's a long ways away, and also has a separate gate hub that's more set to be connected to the components of a gate operation setup. But this is a really nice tool and one that I think is both valuable in residential and commercial applications. Now, Access Intercom system can also be used for multi-residential dwellings. So when you have an apartment complex, this is actually a really nice feature that you can add on, and it's pretty inexpensive. So these devices, in this case, in this scenario, let's say you have a front door for this apartment building and you want to have the ability to call up from the front door to any of the rooms, and then for those people to admit that person at the front door. What's great about this is you only need to have one access hub on the whole deployment, going to that door, connect to the intercom. You'll have that connected to the lock and everything. And then all you have to do is wire, using PoE, you can just wire these intercom viewers to each one of the rooms. And so you don't have to have an access hub with these. And these can be sent, you know, one in each apartment. And then the directory can be scalable to whatever you want. You can have multiple entry points with all the apartments listed. But it's just very economical when you add up the price for this system. And so it's a very easy sell. If you're going to go ahead and wire a whole network with UniFi, it's an easy sell to add on an intercom system to an apartment complex like this. But yeah, really nice solution, and this is great for luxury apartments too, because this product looks you know, high end and sleek there with those viewing devices. And just generally, I think you'll find that this is a pretty easy sell when you're doing a new network. Here's a comparison of our access hubs. So these are the options that we offer. I mentioned the gate and the elevator there on the right, and then the standard UA hub door. Now the UA Ultra is a unique device and one that I want to particularly call out for you guys. The UA Ultra is the only device that we currently offer that is not only just a hub, it's also a reader in one device. So this device is really it provides a lot of value. So if you're going to use the UA Ultra, you don't have to have a UA hub to go with it. So instead of buying like a reader and a hub, you can just buy this UA Ultra, and this MSRP for this product is about $129. So if you think about this, on the back of this device, there's a contact for an extra request button and a contact for a lock. And so basically you can connect the lock, power up from this device, and also connect the exit request button on the inside of that door. And this is, if that's all you need, this is perfect for interior doors. Like say you're going to secure a utility closet or maintenance closet, or you want to secure the server room. This is really affordable because it costs $129 for this, and then if you add on a lock and a extra request button, you're talking about like less than $200, and it could be less than $200 for a door. So I mean, this is a great thing about if you're selling a cloud gateway to a customer. It's really easy to sell, a few additional doors for door access at this price point. So like if you're going to be doing a rack install of networking equipment, you can also suggest that they install door access solution to secure the networking equipment. So this is, again, really easy to use and straightforward. The only thing I would just mention is what I recommend to customers is that for external entry points, it's good to have a device with an integrated camera and all the other connections that the hub supports. So I would oftentimes suggest that you use the Ultra for internal doors, and then for external doors, you may use maybe the G2 Reader Pro and the UA Hub. So that's what I would recommend that you do. But this is, again, one way that you can even get people started with UniFi Access. So if they just start out with 2 of these doors with UA Ultra, what they'll find is with the ease of use and simplicity of it all and how affordable it is, it's then an easy sell in the future. Then go upsell them on these additional products. And these are a comparison of all of our readers. Again, we have the UA Ultra here on the left, which is the one that is both a reader and a hub, but the rest of these devices are gradually increasing complexity in what they can handle, except with the exception of the intercom viewer. It's not actually a reader, but it is connected to that intercom device. But these other devices, the readers that we offer, basically, if you want more access methods, like things like facial recognition, it's going to cost a little bit more because we have to have the integrated camera and the other components necessary. So basically, if a customer needs only very few methods, if they just need an NFC card, the UA Ultra or the UA Reader might be sufficient. But if they need, something more than that, G2 Reader Pro is going to be a full-featured option, as is the intercom device. Now, one thing to know about the intercom, it's very large. It's pretty big. I'd say it's about 14, 15 inches long. So that is not something that you want to have on like a residential door, generally speaking, on a home. But some people may want that. But a G2 Reader Pro makes a lot of sense for external doors where they want something compact that looks good with the design there. Coming in black and white both is kind of a nice part about that. But the intercom, I think, makes a lot of sense for gates, for commercial applications, as well as those multi-residential units where they need an intercom system like this. So yeah, that's just the overview of these products, and I'm happy to field some questions after this and we finish the presentation. Just a few more things to go through, and then we'll open up for some questions. We also have these door locks we offer. Again, these are not required for use of UniFi. We support third-party locks. We support third-party motion sensors and all sorts of other things. But this is just an option there for convenience, and we offer some valuable door locks here that are good price and good construction and features. Now, one thing to note about the difference between the electric and magnetic locks, they both do the same thing, except the magnetic lock is going to be up at the top of that door. And a lot of times, if you're going to be doing a glass door, you're not going to want to use a magnetic lock. It just depends. But you also have the holding force of 1,200 pounds or 600 pounds. So if you need more security, you want to have it more resistant to someone pulling it open with a truck or something, then you can go with the higher increased holding force. But ultimately, the nice thing about the magnetic locks is they also come with a door position sensor. So you'll just connect not only to the lock terminal, but you also connect the DPS contacts as well. And then that will basically give you an indication where the doors are open. Whereas the electric lock won't tell you, we can't really tell you if the doors are open or not. But of course, the benefit of the electric lock is it might integrate better with like push bar exits, doors and stuff like that. So yeah, just again, these are the options, but again, any third-party lock typically is fine. We also offer these starter kits, which are a nice way for you to get started with it if you're wanting to maybe just try it out with a door at one of your businesses or at a customer deployment, and you just kind of want to see everything in one package. These offer some savings off of the SKUs individually, and also it's a nice thing to be able to give a customer a chance to just try it out on a small scale before they decide to buy it for everything. But we have everything from the elevators and gate access, which those two are both only available in a starter kit. But the other two, you can buy all the other components anywhere you want, but this is just what's included in that. So just one more thing to cover before we open up for questions. UniFi Access and Protect. I just want to highlight this integration I mentioned earlier. So by having UniFi Access and UniFi Protect together, and you can manage both of these devices from our network video recorders, So the device that's going to store the footage from your cameras can also act as the device that's managing the door access solution. And what's nice about having these two deployments together, either on a cloud gateway or on an MVR, you get some added benefits from deploying these side by side. I've listed these here. So for instance, with an access opening, every access opening with door access, you can get a recorded event and protect. We can also use facial recognition to unlock the door, or license plate recognition to open the gate with the use of UniFi Protect. Additionally, remote monitoring can be used with cameras to also do remote unlock. So you can have someone that's monitoring the feeds that can open the door manually if they want to while monitoring that. And we also have smart detections and facial recognition that then can be used for a person or vehicle of interest in the product as well. So this is kind of nice for if you see, like, let's say there was an employee theft, you can create a person of interest in the camera platform and record every single camera angle which that the theft was caught, and annotate that and download it in a package, and then you can see all the facial recognition events related to that person, it's in the recorded video. So these are just some nice ways that we add value by bringing these together. So I do recommend when you're selling one that you consider selling the other, because it just adds value to each other and improves the value of the solution. Here's, I mentioned this already, so I won't go over this again, but I just want to show you kind of what the Access Protect integration looks like. So this is one of my colleagues in our Chicago office. You can see here on the bottom right, he's using his key fob there to against the reader to open this door in their office. Now you can see there on the top left of that display the main door camera view of him reaching his hand down, and then we also see it from the same door, a different vantage point with the front door. So this is nice again, where you need multiple angles. You want if someone breaks in, you want multiple angles of footage to show that. This is just another nice feature that Protect and Access offers. So you can pair as many cameras as you want to these doors. So you can have 6 angles if you want to from a customer, however you want to do it. But this is just a really nice feature that customers like to see it. And once you see it in real time, it's very easy to index every door access event, and it becomes very valuable to the customer to be able to very quickly find out what happened with any door entry event. All right, so that brings me to the end of the presentation. I've got a list here of resources here that I recommend that you familiarize yourself with. So if you're new to UniFi, or even if it's been a few years since you worked with it, I've got all these resources that'll help you get started. We got the site manager, that's what I talked about, where you manage your deployments from. The design center is something else you'll want to check out when you're doing a new deployment with even door access or cameras or networking equipment. You can just lay out the customer floor plan. You can place the devices necessary for a door access solution on that floor plan. You can even draw the cable runs and everything, and generate a bill of materials, a whole installation instructions, a PDF with your branding on it that you can give to the customer for a sales proposal. That's a really nice solution, and it's all free. So check out design.ui.com. If we have time, I'll go over it today in the call if we run out of questions, but I just want to make you familiar with that. And then we got a few other resources here. I just want to particularly flag the tech specs site. That's where you can get those specs on each one of the door readers and do a comparison. We now support a side-by-side comparison to different SKUs. So you can, if you have a customer that's considering 3 different SKUs for this deployment, you can go to tech specs, create a side-by-side comparison, and then give that to them as a way of helping them make a decision there. We also have a lot of other resources here I won't go over. And of course, we have all of our free mobile apps that we have one for Access as well. But now I think that's a good amount of information. I know it might be overload, but I want to give time for everyone to ask questions. So let's go ahead and open the call for questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. That was an awesome presentation, very well put together slideshow. We do have some time to answer a couple of questions that came in. I say a couple, but quite a few questions came in actually during the presentation. So some of them you may have already covered in your presentation, but we can recap anyways. Let's start with this one. It's kind of a 2-part question, but they kind of relate to each other. Is it compatible with third-party door locks and access control devices? And is there API support for integration with third-party platforms?
So yeah, we do have an API. We have API documentation for Access on our site. It's actually one of the products that we provide some API documentation for, and it is all API based. But of course, as I mentioned before, our product is also compatible with all sorts of third-party components. So let me give you an example of where it's helpful for you to know. It's helpful for customers to know how flexible you can be. Like I was working with a deployment in a surgical center where they wanted to secure the room where doctors and the surgeons would keep all of their personal belongings when they're preparing for surgery. So they come in with their street clothes on, they swipe their card, and they access this changing room with also like the equipment to wash themselves up and prepare for a surgery. What's cool about this is they wanted to have a foot pedal or a foot motion sensor that they could wave their foot under once they finish, and they'd have their little sanitary booties and everything on. But they would wave their foot underneath the sensor, and then it would open the door. They wanted to be able to do this. Now, of course, we don't offer a foot motion. We don't offer like a foot pedal or something like that for surgeons. But being able to use that, and especially in the medical field, they need stuff that's like liquid proof. Like it can't, if there's blood or fluids on you don't want this to, get inside of a door access button. So whatever kind of components they needed, we were able to then use that and connect that to the motion sensor portion, and they could just wave their foot there and open the door. So that was an example of how, having that third-party compatibility allows you to find whatever components you need for deployment and then integrate them with the UniFi solution. So that's one of the great things about it. It's just a very open system, and it has to be if we want to make these wide variety of physical security deployments work. I think I answered both parts of that question. Is there something I missed, Jonathan?
No, I think you did. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Here's another one to throw your way. Is it compliant with relevant security standards such as GDPR? And I had to Google this acronym, General Data Protection Regulation.
Yeah, so we have this. We have an international customer base, of course, as you know, and so any of our software has to be, if being deployed in Europe where that GDPR is required, then we're totally compliant with that, and we have to be in order to do business in Europe. So the fact that we sell that and we do well in Europe is tells you that we also do have provisions in place for that. Let me show you also one of the things. If I go to tech spec site here, something that you can do when you're considering a door access install, you can click on the whatever product you're going to be deploying. Let's say we're just going to do the UA hub door, and we want to know what certifications it has. So we can look and see, okay, these are the certifications, the UL certification, and so on. So this can be used for, we also have the UL 294 statement and the level provided here for destructive attack, line security, endurance, standby power, etc. Another thing to also keep in mind is that for NDAA, like government installs, all of our products are manufactured in Vietnam now. And so we've moved over the last few years, all of our products from, in some cases, we're in China, we're now being manufactured in Vietnam, which is a NDAA compliant location. So if you ever have a deployment for a government entity that needs NDAA compliance, you can contact our compliance team at compliance@ui.com and just say, I need a letter that certifies that these products that we're going to be purchasing are NDAA compliant, and so on. But that's all doable with us, and that's one of the great things that's changed in the last couple of years. And so, yeah, this is a product that can meet any requirements essentially, and I think you'll find that it's very much acceptable for 99.9% of deployments out there.
Excellent. Thank you for that answer. Here's another one. Any plan to add DPS to the Access Ultra? And I had to Google this one as well. I'm bad with acronyms. Door positioning sensor, which is a device that detects if the door is open or closed and sends that status to a control panel.
So I would say no, and the reason being that the way that we can afford to sell the UA Ultra at the price that we do is because it has to be it has to be very simple in terms of its hardware. Now, this is a pretty powerful device. It's weatherproof rated, so you can have it installed outdoors. It has a tamper switch, so that if it is removed, it can initiate alarm and so on. And it's got, tamper-resistant mounting and things like that. But in terms of, in order to be used in this capacity, we had to trim down the features. So it's basically what you need for the most basic install. And so if you need more features than that, you're just going to want to upgrade to one of the other models and use our door access hub. So like the door position sensor, it's very easy to use on this device here. So if you look at my screen here, you can see this is the newer hub version, the UA hub door, which is now what you'll get when you purchase it. You can see here there's a button there for door position. There's a contact for door position sensor. You can just connect those two pair of cables there on to a door position sensor, and then anytime that door is open, we can use that in the software and indicate that in the software. You can have it set up a custom alarm that if a door is left open, that then you can get an alert or something like that. But this is, again, I just want to show this real quick because this also has the connection for the emergency system, so for the alarm system, which we recommend. Again, if you're going to deploy UniFi, I always want to mention this, and you're considering securing the exit, and you don't have things like push bar, you need to make sure you understand fire code and just make sure that you're compliant with that. What that always means is that basically, this is why you see push bars deployed in like schools and things like that, where even if the door is locked from the outside, if there's a power outage, if there's a fire, it doesn't matter. Everyone can push that door open manually without any issue. And so if you're going to secure the exit, like with another reader on the interior, you can do that. But you just need to make sure you understand what the fire code is, and make sure you have provisions in place to keep this safe. And one of the ways that you can do this, so that if you don't have a push bar, you want to secure the entrance. Let's say you're a secure mental health facility, you can then connect this to the emergency portion on there, so that if there's an alarm, the doors will then open. A fire alarm goes off, then they will be required to open, and to allow people to exit safely. So that's just the one thing I wanted to add on to that. But yeah, this device is what you're going to want to use for anytime you need any of these other components, like a siren or a chime, a motion sensor, a door position sensor. You're going to want to use the UA hub door at that point. And really, it just comes down to price. You can do anything. You can do basically anything with this hub. And so you'll just want to upgrade that one door where you need the door position sensor. So no plans to add it because it is hardware limited currently.
Good deal. Thank you. Here's another one. What do the reporting options look like? Can I run a report to see all access to a specific door, or what doors a specific person has accessed?
Yeah, let me show you. I've got a lab set up here now. It doesn't have everything on it, and I could connect you to a real session, but just for the sake of showing you how it's all set up, let me just show you this. So I can connect to this site, and this site has a Fortress Gateway, a new MVR running the Protect and Access, and also a cloud key. The cool thing in the product now is you can manage all these products on one site, even if they're hosted on multiple devices locally. I know that's a big, those of you that understand that will understand that. If you don't worry about it. But the idea is, just generally speaking, we now have modular support of the software so that you can merge different devices together into one site instance like this. So now I'm able to switch over from the network software just to the click to go to the Protect to see the cameras, and I can just click on this to go over to the Access Hub. So here we go, the Access Hub. If I go in here, and I can show you what the reporting looks like. We have lots of different options here. What you can do, we have a system log that includes every time someone opens a door. So there's be a log here. I don't have anyone using this because it's just a lab. But basically, if I go ahead and if I go through the interface and go ahead and unlock one of these doors, for instance, here in the system log, you'll see that I remotely unlocked the log, and now I have a camera paired to that. Let's say I did add a camera paired to that, it would show the entry point at that time. So it keeps logging of all this, and you can create alerts and things like that to customize how you want to handle this. But generally speaking, it's very detailed in what it keeps track of, and you can customize this to some degree, especially with the use of the API.
Thank you, Andrew. Here's another question. Does the G4 doorbell also work with the door hub, or any plans to integrate it in the future?
So the G4 doorbell with the Protect G4 doorbell is a little different in that it's under the Protect line. Let me I can show you the unit. So the G4 Doorbell Pro, it's a UniFi video camera, so it's technically under UniFi Protect side of things. So this is not fully integrated with UniFi Access, and since it's a part of Protect, will mainly be managed on that side of things. I haven't worked with this product recently; maybe it's a little older because of that reason, but you can get some more details here if you want to know more about how this works and everything. But it's just not going to be on the same platform as the other products.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Another residential question here: are there any plans to bring more locks to the market, such as deadbolts or residential locks?
Yeah, so we're definitely looking at that. I mean, one of the things that you have to keep in mind with us is there's a lot of different things that people use out there, and there's already a lot of products in the market. One thing we're weighing is when we can come out with more locks, but one thing we have to consider is, especially for home uses, a lot of times people are using third-party devices that maybe are integrated to a specific app that they want to use. I think right now our plan is you know, we may very well release some of those products in the near future, but I think we're also, as a stopgap solution, are going to be working on providing some integrations to these other products. So I can see in the future where we have support for garage door, you know, common garage door locks that are smart locks, or maybe deadbolts as well. So if we don't have the lock, just know that we're working on bringing that to the market as the integration as well on these products, so that you can use a third-party lock potentially with these. And you'll see on Protect, like for our video products, like one thing we've tried to do better lately is we opened up our video recorders to be able to manage third-party cameras, and so we're trying to be a little bit more sensitive to what your needs are, and sometimes support those third-party integration when necessary. So yeah, I would look for that in the future, but then also we'll continue to be looking at other lock models to come to market.
That's good news. Looking forward to those releases. Looks like we have time for one more. Last question is, does it work with popular smart home devices such as Alexa or Google Home?
So not, you know, with the use of the API, I think that would probably be possible, but it's not going to be supported in the interface, so we don't support it in Alexa or Google Home through the software itself. But again, the API documentation being there, it opens up opportunities for different integrations and unique things that you can do. And so just keep in mind that even if it's not supported in the software right now, there's still ways to do things. But yeah, there'll just be something you have to check out with the API documentation.
Great, thank you. And those were excellent questions. Thank you to everyone who participated. This is all the time we have left. I would like to thank everyone who took the time to join us today on our live presentation, as well as everyone who is watching this webinar recording on YouTube or social media. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ISP Supplies, and to also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for more informative webinars and upcoming hands-on training classes. We also have an email newsletter that goes out bi-weekly that can keep you up to date on all promos, new releases, webinars, training classes, trade shows, and pretty much everything else that's going on in the industry. If you're not on our email list currently, please make sure to subscribe to our newsletter using the link on the bottom of our website at ispsupplies.com. Andrew, thanks again for today's presentation. You covered a lot of really useful info, and you made it very easy to follow. If anyone listening is ready to deploy Ubiquiti's UniFi Door Access or would like a quote, please reach out to us. You can email us at sales@ispsupplies.com, or you can give us a call at 855-947-7776. That's 855-WISP-PRO, and we'll get that info over to you right away. So have a great rest of your week, everyone. Until next time.